Hello Libra, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you are a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading, booking a personal reading or coaching session with me, or on my upcoming Attract the Love That You Deserve workshop can be found in the description box below. All right, Libra, we're going to jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first. So we're going to look at your energy toward the connection, their energy toward it, and the energy in between the connection with oracle cards. And then we will dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. But let's first start, Libra, with your side of this connection to the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. This is Libra's side of this connection. You have boundaries. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Shattered, deja vu, trapped. Okay, I feel like this kind of tells a whole story here. I feel like this person, from the beginning of this connection, felt very much like something that you wanted in your life. It felt aligned with what it is that you were looking for. But then as time went on, it feels as if things started to shift and change in a way that made you feel like you weren't getting what you needed in the connection. And I think that for a long time, or at least for a while, you were trying to find yourself back to, like, trying to get back to how things were in the beginning of the connection. But also we're in this weird place of like trying to make things work, but also trying to protect yourself, because I do feel that things shifted. And I think that now there's this energy of feeling maybe a little bit confused and overwhelmed, like not really knowing how to handle things here. I also feel as if this is some sort of a cycle for you in your life, just feeling like people switching up on you in some way where you think it's one thing, but then it ends up being another, and it's just, really confusing for you. And I feel like there's something about the cycle that Spirit's trying to bring through. Let's look at this person's energy toward you, Libra. And they might switch back and forth too. Like there might be glimpses where you feel like they are the version of them that you fell in love with, or if this isn't romantic, like that you really enjoyed in the beginning. You might see glimpses of that, but then it feels like majority of the time, things kind of shifted. I don't know in what way. Maybe it was like a kind of a cold, distant way. This person's energy toward you, Libra. Sparks. It's like a spark that never became a flame. That's always what this card kind of reminds me of. Like initially there were sparks, there was all of this, this energy, like all this potential, this energy of potential, and then never fully developing into more than that. This person's energy toward you, Libra. Synchronicity underlying is ego here. So this ego card, I feel, speaks volumes about this person's energy. I feel as if this person struggles with really any kind of relationship. It kind of feels like their ego tends to really get in the way of their relationships and allowing relationships to fully like form. And that's the thing. It almost feels as if like, same with this connection, like there was that spark in the beginning, right? Things were, felt good. There was potential there. And then bam, things shift. And I feel like it's because of this ego energy. I don't necessarily know what that entails. Now, the synchronicity card is interesting too, because it feels as if this is like a theme in their life. And I feel like this connection to you really brought this theme to the surface. It's interesting. And I could be, I mean, you have the friendship card on the beginning. So this could be a friendship, or it could be like a connection that you were wanting more out of, or, you know, it could have been an actual relationship. And, oh, why am I putting that away? All right, let's look at the truth of the connection here between you and this person. I was getting ahead of myself there. Truth of the connection here between you and this person, Libra. Let's see what's unfolding. Connection. So the connection here was very real and it was very mutual. Like both people cared a lot about this. And you have forgiveness here. I feel like I'm not going to fully understand what this is saying until we dive deeper into this reading, specifically this forgiveness card. Because I feel like, okay, yeah. I feel like this connection was very real for both of you. But I feel as if this person made a lot of decisions from ego that doesn't really reflect like their heart or their soul. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean like letting somebody back into your life, right? I've always said that forgiveness is an act of self-love more than it is actually an act of love for another person, because it frees you from the pain that that situation has caused you. And I think that a lot of times, like, forgiveness can be kind of complicated when we feel as if we were really done wrong, which makes sense, right? But I feel as if the goal of this is to give you a different perspective on this person's behavior, because I feel as if it's not as like black and white as you might think, which might just help. Like when we can understand other people's behavior from a different perspective, it can help us not take things so personally, right? Because then we can understand, I mean, and, you know, again, I've always said, people don't treat you how they value you. They treat you how they value themselves, and they treat you how they feel that they're deserving of being treated. You know, people show how they feel about themselves through their behavior toward you. And when we can understand that, I think it makes it easier for us to separate our worth from how people treat us, which can free us from the cycle of believing that there's something wrong with us that causes us to experience, you know, mistreatment or, you know, certain things in relationships. But I feel like we're going to dive into all of that. And like I said, I don't know if I'm fully going to understand this until we get into the nitty gritty of this reading. So overall theme of this here, because this is just overall energy. It's like peeling back the layers, right? Overall theme of this here for you, Libra. You still miss me. Someone has unmet needs and the feelings are mutual. So it feels as if, and that might be what you're struggling with, is you feel like, oh, because this person switched up or things changed, you might feel as if like, oh, they never cared about me, or they never, you know, wanted this connection in their life. Like they were just playing me. I don't get that vibe here. I feel like there's something going on here. I don't know what yet. We'll dive into that. But with this, someone has unmet needs. I feel like this was really you in this connection here. Libra, feeling as if your needs weren't being met. I feel as if you know, maybe you intuitively know too, that this person has stronger feelings for you than they let on, or that this person cared about you more than they let on. And I think that might make things even more confusing, because it's like, if they did care about me but they acted this way, like, that doesn't make sense. There's a disconnect there, right? So let's just see. Let's just see what's going on, because I feel like you jump back and forth. Like, maybe there's times where you're like, oh no, they really cared about me, it was just misaligned. But then there's maybe times where you're like, was any of this real? Especially if this is like in full-blown separation, which I do get the feeling that it is. But you guys are still connected. Like, the connection is still very much in your energy. Let's see, Libra. Shattered with deja vu. Libra's energy toward this person that they are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. An opportunity that never fully formed with this connection. It's like when you met this person, you saw where this could go, and it feels like the connection never fully formed, which we saw with the Sparks card here. The Knight of Wands. I feel like you really put a lot into this connection and into this relationship here. Libra, with the Knight of Wands, this is very much like, vulnerability, going after it, opening your heart, your mind, your spirit to something. And I feel like you got pretty screwed over here, Libra. Not gonna lie. We haven't seen the Justice in reverse, but Libra's side of this connection. The Eight of Cups. Someone was forced to walk away. So this is in separation. I feel like it was you. Or they walked away, or they backed you into a corner of walking away. Either way, I feel like you didn't want the separation, but it felt necessary. This Knight of Wands is really warm. This is really warm energy. It's very genuine. It's very caring. And this Eight of Cups is very like, it's almost that same energy where it's like, I'm walking away not because not because I hate you, but because I'm hurting, or because I can't do this anymore. Like, there's still a lot of love in this Eight of Cups energy. And I think that makes things even more complicated too. This Eight of Cups could also be in contemplation for you. Depending on where you're at in the cycle, this Eight of Cups could be in contemplation. Where like, there are days where you want to make it work, and there are days where you feel like you need to shut the door. Libra's side of this. Tower. Something happened here. The Tower led to the Shattered, and I think that this Tower, it revealed true colors. I feel like that's what I heard. It revealed true colors. The Tower revealed true colors. It's almost as if you saw them as someone before the Tower, and then you saw them as someone else after the Tower. Like, it really shifted your perspective of who this person was, and I think that's ultimately what led to the Eight of Cups. Like, certain things were revealed, or you saw like something very clearly. Libra side of the connection here. The Ten of Pentacles. You really saw this person as a very important part of your future. Like, when you saw your future, when you saw what you wanted, it was like you saw this person in it. And I feel like you, at like whatever this Tower was, it almost like made you feel as if they didn't see you in the same way. Like, almost as if it was like, I must have never been as important to you as you were to me. Like, that's what you felt. I'm not saying that's actually how this person feels. But I feel like, yeah, in this connection, it just felt like you poured a lot, because it, you know, what you were wanting out of this was something that was really important to you. This person was really important to you. This connection was really important to you. Like, it feels like you prioritized it. You showed up for them. And then in the end, and that's why I said, I still get this feeling of just kind of getting screwed over. Let's see. One more for Libra's side. And I feel like this is about trying to make sense of what happened. Or just trying to heal. Maybe you're just like, I just want to let go. Maybe there's a part of you that wants to, you know, stop hurting. Feel some peace again. Yeah, because there's that 5 of Swords. I feel like you're very much in defensive mode. There might be some anger here. Some, you know, frustration and resentment around how things went down. And I feel like you are justified in that. So I don't necessarily know what happened, but I do definitely feel as if whatever it was, it changed things. Like something really changed things here. Like I said, true colors in some way kind of came out. This person's energy toward you. Let's see what's going on here. This person's energy toward you, Libra. Temperance in reverse. Why is this person frustrated? They're frustrated with how things went down here. But they're the one that created the conflict. The 5 of Wands. They're frustrated. They're frustrated that you stood your ground. Okay, hang on. This person's energy toward Libra. Because they feel like you kind of ripped the rug out from underneath them. Oh, this is a pattern for them. 6 of Cups, 4 of Wands in reverse, and the 4 of Pentacles in reverse too. The 10 of Wands. Ah. Okay. This person self-sabotages their relationships. Especially when they start to develop and when there's like closeness and intimacy that starts to develop. It feels like this person chooses to kind of pull away. They choose the route that is, it's the route of ego, because the ego's primary goal is survival, right? It wants to keep you protected from danger, perceived danger, right? But the ego doesn't always see things clearly. It sees things only through the lens of its perception. And oftentimes the ego will see see things through the lens of its past, of your past. So if you have like a history of being hurt in relationships or experiencing, people who harm you in some way, maybe starting in childhood or into early adulthood, you develop a certain expectation of relationships. And I feel like that's what happened with this person is they have developed a certain expectation in their relationships of like getting hurt or of being hurt, like expecting everyone to always be against them, everyone's out to get them. Like it's very much a me against the world kind of mentality here. And they perceived you through that lens, even though you didn't do anything, okay, to provoke that. I feel, because I said this about the Knight of Wands, I said this energy was very warm, but it feels as if because they have this expectation of being hurt, they went into like self-protection mode. Like, what can I do to protect myself from this perceived threat that I have in this moment, even if that threat isn't actually there? And I think that the threat for them is vulnerability. If I let somebody in, if I let somebody get too close, if I let somebody see, who I really am, like I'm going to get left, they're going to hurt me, I'm going to end up, in a bad place because of it. And I feel since they carry that projection, they project that past onto their relationships, they tend to, like, it's like a leave before I can get left, or sabotage before I can get hurt, or walk away or create distance before things get too serious or too whatever. And they don't do this because they don't see the value in the connection. They do this because they see the value in the connection. And it's interesting because I feel as if they're used to connections that kind of allow them to keep that distance. But I feel for you, you desire, you know what you deserve. You know what you bring. And I feel because of that, you hold a certain standard in your relationships. And because this person wasn't showing up in the way that you deserved, right? You had unmet needs. You felt as if this person wasn't meeting you. And maybe you tried to communicate that, because that's step one. We always have to be willing to communicate what it is we need and desire. We can't expect people to read our minds, right? But if you've communicated and if you've asked and if you've been honest and clear about what you need, and somebody still refuses to meet you where you deserve to be met, that's a sign. That's a sign that somebody isn't capable of meeting you where you deserve to be met. And right now, with where this person is in their kind of energy and in their journey, they're operating from a very wounded place. They haven't done a lot of healing around the ways in which they have been wounded. And I feel like this is why Spirit is asking you to, okay, this is where the forgiveness comes in, is to understand that this person isn't behaving this way because they feel a certain way about you or don't love you or don't care about you or never cared about you. They're acting a certain way because of their past and their history. Now, this is twofold, okay? That isn't your fault. That isn't your burden, and you never deserved this, okay? But the more that you look at how this person showed up as a perception of like your value or a perception of how they felt about you, and you take that really personally, the more that is going to negatively impact you. You are going to feel very stuck in this connection and in the hurt that this connection has caused you. If you're able to understand that where this person was coming from is more about where they're at in their journey and really didn't have anything to do with you at all, that can allow you to release the connection with empathy, right? Where we're able to say, I see, that maybe you made certain decisions because of your emotional unavailability or your inability to, meet yourself at the depth in which, I deserve to be met, because people can only meet you and love you to the extent that they have met and loved themselves. When we can see things from that perspective, that allows us to, create that space and that distance for healing. Now, there's a flip side to this, because when we attract people into our life who aren't able to meet us where we deserve to be met, there is something that is trying to tell us. There's something about that connection that is borderline kind of karmic in a way, because it's trying to bring to the surface what, is drawing us to people who aren't able to love us in the way that we deserve. And I feel like that's the cycle here. Maybe this cycle of attracting people who, switch up on you, or eventually run away from the connection, or create that distance, or operate from ego, or whatever the case is. That might be a cycle for you that Spirit's trying to help you break, so that you are able to attract the connections that are able to meet you where you deserve to be met. Because I feel like this person, they have a lot of healing to do. And they kind of, it's like they mess up their own life and then they play the victim about it. And I think that that's what, maybe you're struggling with a little bit, is like you walked away and they're frustrated, and it's like, but you were the one that pushed me in this position. Like, I didn't want to walk away, or I didn't want to stand my ground. Like, I wanted things to work, but I also have expectations, and I have, what it is that I, feel I deserve in relationships. And I think that when we hold standards in relationships, it challenges people who are used to not really having to show up for those standards, who are used to just kind of being able to be selfish, being the one that's always taking, never really being the one that's showing up for the connection. And that's ego, right? That is somebody operating from ego. So I feel like where this connection currently stands, Spirit's trying to help give you a new perspective on this connection, to help you on your healing journey. Because one of the best things that I've learned, and I've been kind of, this has been a mantra for me recently, but the best revenge is a life well lived. And I say that not from a place of, I believe in karma, I believe in justice and all of those things, but I also believe that we only have, the other people only have the power over our life that we give them. And if we hold our, if we look at our lives, or we look at our ability to be loved, and we say, I don't have the ability to be loved because other people won't love me the way that I deserve, then we're powerless, right? But if we're able to look at certain situations, and we're able to say, what brought this into my life? What is this trying to teach me? How is this trying to help me heal, grow, and evolve beyond this, cycle in my life, so that I can have the love that I deserve? Because every cycle is merely a blockage from what it is that is possible for us. And the love that you deserve is absolutely possible for us. So I feel like Spirit's trying to help, like I said, provide a different perspective on this connection. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed to be angry. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to be frustrated, but just seeing things from a different perspective can help you on your healing journey, and to help for you from the cycle of not, of attracting people that aren't able to meet you where it is that you do deserve to be met. So in between this connection, you have forgiveness with connection. I'm going to dive deeper into this, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So kind of diving into a lot of what I just said here at the very end of this reading. Any information for that is in the description box below. We're going to dive deeper with tarot, and then I got an advice card to pull at the end. Before I hop on over to the extended, I do want to reiterate that I am hosting a How to Attract the Love That You Deserve workshop on February 20th at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is a live workshop. However, if you cannot attend live and you still wish to be a part of it, if you purchase a ticket, you will receive the replay and all of the materials the very next day. I might put this replay up for sale like after the workshop, but if that is the case, I'm going to raise the price just to keep the price fair to those who purchase the workshop ahead of time. So just keep that in mind. There's not necessarily rush, but if you want to get the price that it's at now, even if you can't attend live, then that I do that now. Anyway, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. Thank you so much, as always, Libra, for your support of me as a reader. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Libra.